So I just came out here to see some humpback whales because you could see them from the beach. And I just got here and they are huge. Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm MP. We love the ocean, so we decided to make it our home by buying a massive wooden schooner, which is unfortunately sinking.
A lot of people believe our boat is doomed, but we refuse to settle on that thought. And we are willing to do whatever it takes to bring it back to its former glory.
Join us on this refurbishing journey and wish us luck.
So at the moment, unfortunately, we are still waiting for wood to arrive to build our deck, well, anything, even our last 3 planks, which is taking so long, but sooner to be ready. But anyway, we're gonna look at what has to be built next, and in order for it to be built next, what has to be prepared. So as we're building the walls of our housing area, I'm sure it has a different name, but you know what I mean. We are also looking at the walls of this. Now, some of it's good, some of it's bad. Now, the lowest part of this, the lowest horizontal plank, is one of the important ones, which actually holds a bit of structure together. So that one is going to be replaced together with the rest of the planks that are going to be our walls. Now, that's being removed, but it's all been screwed and nailed vertically, which means it's very difficult to get the screws out as they are inside the wood. Anyway, you can see it's difficult. And at the same time, as that's being removed, I'm getting rid of all these old hoses. And a while ago, I think it was on Instagram stories, that I said how to test if a hose is good or bad. If it bends, it's a good hose. And if it snaps, it's a bad hose. So that's why we're getting rid of these as well. I'm sure they still work, but they should not be this hard and brittle. We've got a 220 volt blender under our sink, which we think is a bit overkill, as it's also 220 volt, and a lot of other stuff. So this is going to be removed, as well as the lower plank on both sides. My turn. Oh, look at that. Lovely. Ta-da! So as they are doing all this, it's making a mess, and it's actually opening up our safe place, which is where we kept our tools and our valuables. So we're going to have to take all of that home, or at least leave it in the car and transport it with us, which means like 5 toolboxes, our jerry cans, separate tools, screws, bolts.
As you mentioned home, I would like to show something. Can you come with me?
Oh, what's this? Before we go down, that's all being open now, so we can't leave anything here. This is what we used to lock. I'm curious what this is going to be.
We get a lot of questions about us living on the boat during the rebuild, so I just really want to show you why that's not possible.
Okay.
We really are not living here because we couldn't be living here. That would be our room.
Let's go and have a look
This
at
would
our,
be the sofa.
let's stand where you stand where the bed used to be. Or in fact, go and lie down where the bed used to be. Have fun. And there are a lot of mosquitoes here. How's that for a good night's sleep?
No, we wouldn't be very rested and we wouldn't be able to work the night.
And we wouldn't be dry.
So yeah, answering the most common question, no, we're not living here during the buffet.
So people ask, what are your plans for the works? It just happens. So we're waiting. If we have wood, we build the boat. If we don't have wood, something that's like way ahead is already being done to be prepared for when wood arrives. So even though we weren't planning on having this all exposed for now, this was like for the future. And then as we don't have wood, let's start on this already. But then that ruins our plans for actually working on the engine and storing our engine parts here. And I think someone's a bit overwhelmed.
Me. We're going to continue with the destruction, but now on the other side. But the thing is, there we have the electric panel, the 220 panel, so we're finding a way on how to remove it safely, if we can remove it. So yeah, let's see how this goes.
From what I've seen so far, it's just being held down by 4 screws. Now, of course, that's not going to be true, but hopefully it is. This was a 220 volt cabinet, so I don't know how much of this we still will need. The only wires left are the ones that are going to these massive switches, which one goes to the inverter, which is not there anymore. One goes to the, oh, they all go to the inverter, which are not there anymore. So the wires that are disconnected at the inverter are actually coming up here. So technically, we are going to put the inverter again, or even a different one, but maybe the same one. We'd be cool to use the same one, but we just need to pull the wires through because we might not have it in the same place. So what I would suggest is we disconnect these, and when we have our inverter in our new place, we pull wires through from here to our inverter, which might be closer to this box, or this box might be closer to the inverter, but we'll see. And not only will we know our boat build inside out, but us doing our wiring is going to make us know every single wire and location of the wires. So if ever anything needs to be changed or fixed, we'll know it.
Lavi, did you have mushrooms for lunch? Your pupils are huge.
It's dark in here. I go into like darkness mode.
Cat mode.
Cat mode. Ah!
Patinheiro das antigas. Tá, será, né?
Well, to give luck, Yaba had this 10-cent coin in between the deck. We might repeat the tradition. We've been struggling a bit with wood lately, and now our keelson has just arrived. Well, not the whole keelson, just the piece we need to fix here in the bow. And yeah, they are unloading the truck now, and soon we can work on it. So I'm really happy, because we didn't know what else to break while we're killing time, because we didn't have any wood. So I'm really happy that now we have wood, so no more breaking, because every time we break something I feel a bit down. So now it's construction again. So this huge piece just arrived. It's really, really thick. It's 32 and 31 almost square
Centimeters.
centimeters. And here 160,
Meter.
maybe it's my height. Yeah, 160, 170, I don't know. And we know you're very curious about how much this costs. So just for you to have an idea, this piece just arrived. I just saw the paper. It cost us almost 1,000 reais. I just confirmed it was 936 reais actually, and that is around $170 today with the quotation of today. So just so you have an idea, this piece here cost us around $170.
Because we will get a million questions
We
about
always do.
prices of wood.
So yeah, and just to make it clear one more time, this wood comes with a certificate of IBAMA, the Brazilian Institute of Natural Resources and the Environment. So that means this piece of wood was harvested in a sustainable way, in a low impact way, and
So,
that's what we believe in.
We're going to write something and it's going to be fun. I-B-A-M-A. That'll be fun editing.
I-B-A-M-A.
Oh, it's even taller than you.
It's taller than me? I'm 162. So it's probably 170?
Yeah.
Can see, but now we have already all the lines. Nezu was drawing the lines from his template. So this here is going out, this is staying. Here there is another mark because here is where the floor timber is. Then this stays, and from this line out, this also goes away. So whatever is here will stay and be our new Kilson part.
So yours is top and this is bottom.
Yeah, because the floor timber is here.
Bom dia. Zequinha chegou não?
Aqui é o irmão Toninho. Vai então vai ele pega aqui, vai. Eu acho que vai escapar. Vai.
Ela escapa, o corte é assim, ó.
Lá em cima lá, ó.
Ela pula lá em cima pra dar o que eu mandei já, ó.
Peraí. So we've finished installing, or at least placing, the new part of keelson. Now we're just looking for another nut to go on here. We are gonna put an extra bar through each of the parts of the joints. Now we have used tar in between the joints here. Now we know lots of people say we should have done it before. The way we are building this boat is the way that boats here are built, and boats here are still built daily and made daily and repaired daily because they are used as fishing boats. There's probably there are a lot more wooden fishing boats here that go out far into the ocean than there are steel boats, or even and there are more wooden boats probably than fiberglass boats. So the way they do it here is they paint everything with this grey artificial primer, the synthetic primer, which is a replacement for the lead paint. Now we know we've mentioned that before maybe, and this, as we had this tin of tar, we've used it anyway. And for you guys who say we should have used tar, if ever we need to replace a plank, then you'd be right, or a frame, we will put tar in it. But for now, we really trust this way. There are some planks, unfortunately, that we didn't put this grey primer on, And what's very cool is we can actually see the difference of where fresh water gets in the boat on this grey primer and where it gets onto the wood. And we can see the huge difference in where the water has been sitting. So we know this primer works for sure. And most importantly, we are going to do our best and we are going to make sure we have no freshwater infiltration, and when we do, we will fix it straight away. So fresh water inside the boat shouldn't be a problem for us, or at least we're going to do our best for that to be true. Also, you can judge MP and myself as much as you want, but please, these guys here working, it's their job, it's their heritage, it's the way they've done it for hundreds and hundreds of years, and their fathers and grandfathers are also carpenters. So this piece was literally cut with an 11-inch chainsaw and a chisel. So have respect for the way they build this, which is amazing. We do unfortunately not have access to the biggest, the best, the most expensive tools, but stuff gets done. It looks a bit rough. They even offered to like plane it down so it matches the current keelson, and I said, look, leave it. It's a big piece of wood. Let's make the most of it being nice and strong and like sturdy, and just leave it. So they do want to finish off lots of stuff, but in my belief and in lots of their beliefs as well, it's leave it big and sturdy and don't plane most of it away. So it's going to be hidden under the floor anyway. So remember, if you want to comment anything bad about this project, feel free to do so. We prefer not, of course, but please don't talk badly about the guys working on these boats. They're working from morning till evening non-stop with not the most expensive tools like you guys are all used to from other sailing channels, but they get the job done amazingly.
Sempre quebra o. R$5. Tem aí 2 parafusos aí. Fica nada.
So Nezo, who is also the king of chainsaws, as you might have noticed, he made, even though he decided to leave the bulk element to this mend, he wanted it to look nicer, so he's just cut it diagonally on both sides, well, mainly on this side and a bit on the front to make it more aerodynamic. No, but we're going to just sand this down a bit, even though it's going to be under the floor. Whenever we're faffing about under the floorboards, we don't want to have any splinters or any cuts from these threads. So yeah, that's done anyway. We were also talking about maybe putting a watertight bulkhead between the forward cabins and the storage in the bow, also maybe between the galley and the engine room, but that's just an idea. It would be cool. I mean, if we could like make it just like the outer planks with caulking and make it nice and solid with a pump in the bow as well, water pump. Just an idea. He was suggesting a few things, but this is done. This is in place. We need one more bar over there on the port side to go with the one on the starboard side there. This is 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and these are going to be 1/2 an inch. So almost done. What's special about the waters today?
That we have whales in the area.
And how many have other people seen so far?
3.
And how many have we seen so far?
0.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I just came out here to see some humpback whales because you could see them from the beach. And I just got here and they are huge. I don't know if I should be like, of course I should be careful, but I'm staying away from them, but still, what, they're so big. Let's see if we can find one more. So I'm on the beach now and I've still got my life jacket on because I just went kayaking and I saw whales for the first time in my life. That's not on TV, and they were humpback whales, and there were 3, like loads, and I'm still full of adrenaline because they came so close. And I thought, as we're here anyway, well, the camera died because I filmed so much of the whales, we thought we'd thank all the new people who joined us on Patreon and for the PayPal donations. All right, so thank you so much.
Max!
Thank you, Sergio.
Thank you, Gus!
Thank you, RVPM.
Thank you, Roy!
And thank you, Joris. That was epic! And huge! Like, huge! I'm overwhelmed. A bus swimming next to you and I was in a little kayak made out of plastic.
I'm so happy for you, my love.
Plastic little kayak. Whew. There, they were closer than the island. See
Which
the
island?
It was between here and the island. Huge! This big.